So, Terry, we got the 49ers today, which is going to be a revenge game. But
all right, let me stop you. No, it's not a revenge game. It is not.
Terry don't like that word.
No, I think the Lions had won 7 or 8 games, and if these are the same old Lions who have nothing to play for, it would be a revenge game. This is just the next in a continuing odyssey for the Lions to try to win a championship. I just don't believe this is a game where the Lions say, okay, we're going to get these motherfuckers back, man. Oh, let's go. I just don't think that's the case.
I disagree with that, Terry, and I just think it's the mentality of this team. The Lions are some petty mofos, if you catch my drift there. Ben Johnson likes to run up the score. He likes to embarrass you. Dan Campbell knows what players are close to their milestones, what players are close to their bonuses, and he's a player's coach. He helps them get there, and he's going to have them fired up. They have the most sour, bitter taste in their mouth from last year's NFC Championship game. And yeah, you're right. This game does not mean remotely as much as we thought it would at the beginning of the season. They're 6-9. They thought they'd be a playoff team at least. They're not. They are in the gutter. They're going to be picking in the top 15. But I still think that doesn't matter to this team. They have that salty taste in their mouth that will not go away. And the only way to let it go is to beat them and get over that hump and bust that narrative that you can beat the 49ers and you are the premier team in the NFC.
They already know that. They don't need that game to prove that. San Francisco's not even San Francisco. They're a shell of themselves. The Lions, I think the destiny is so much clearer now. It's so much more important. It's a championship. I have never, ever done a show talking about the Lions and a championship. It was always about revenge. It was always about we can beat teams. We can always. But now this team is different. This team, yeah, they want to punch you in the face. They want to punch you in the face because they want to win a championship. And yeah, they are petty. But I don't think we're like, let's say you and me are sitting on the beach this summer, right? And I'm saying, man, what did you think of that 2024 season? You're not going to mention that, oh, the Lions got revenge against the 49ers. That will not cross your mind, and it won't cross theirs either. Even J-Mo, who's not a reliable source, said this is not a revenge game. I think they are so far beyond revenge now. This is different stakes, bro.
So you think that they're just in a winning get out type of mode?
Yeah.
All focusing on the Vikings next weekend?
Yeah. Which could be dangerous because we're not supposed to talk about the Vikings game yet because it's one game at a time. You know how they always do that. And that is true. When you look ahead to other teams, either you lose or you lose focus and you're not the team that you should be. That is a possibility tonight. So we got to watch out for that.
Yeah, I think the worst thing for us would be to take a stinker and be looking ahead to the Vikings game because I know that this game doesn't necessarily matter in the grand scheme of things. We could lose and we could win next week and we still secure the 1 seed. But I think it's so big to have that momentum going into the playoffs, having a nice win streak, having a couple good wins under your belt going into the playoffs, especially on the bye as well. And I think that this is a big game for the Lions. I don't think they want to lose. They never want to lose. I just think there is a level of importance to this game that isn't just another game. And I respect your opinion on it and where you're coming from because the revenge doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And you're right. I probably won't even mention the 49ers game when I talk about this magical 2024 season because it feels like a team of destiny. It feels like we are on this road that is something that's uncharted even last year. Like even last year there was this level of questioning towards this Lions team. Like, is this even real? But I think everybody now knows this year it is real. And I guess that might be where the flipping mentality is with this 49ers game.
It is real. I still think in the back of people's minds, they think it's real. They know it's real. But there's this little bug in the back that says, watch out, buddy. Don't go too far. You might get hurt.
Yeah, and I think that with that, we're already breaking that narrative so much. And at some point, it has to become unimportant. So I guess I feel like you kind of got me over here where it isn't. It does feel as we keep talking about it, it feels less and less like a revenge game. It feels like more and more like just another game that they're just going to go out there, they're going to win. Doesn't matter how they do it. They're just going to go out there, play clean, try to play as clean as they can, and they're just going to try to get out of San Fran with a W.
Right. And hey, did you hear bitch ass 97.1 today?
No, I did not.
That was the most bitch ass radio I've ever heard. Oh, don't play anybody because
Yes,
somebody
it's
might
bad.
get injured. Man, fuck that.
It's bad.
You know what I'm saying? Look, Dan Campbell has set an agenda. We're going to go out. We're going to be tough. They talk about being violent. They talk about being men. They talk about tsunamiing everything that's in their way. This is not the Lions' way. This is not Dan Campbell's way. This is not Amon St. Brown's way or Sam Laporta's way. The Lions, they're badasses now. And we got to get that through our heads. They are badasses. The same old Lions is done. We're afraid of our shadows is done. That's not the mentality of this team. I would play the dudes. If you're up 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, then yeah, sit your ass down. We're good. But I would play my guys because I want to see consistency. I want to see the offense get even better. I want to see the defense get better. I want to see these guys on the field with each other and getting better as a team.
I completely agree. The defense just continues to get pieces back, and they need to be able to build that chemistry. They need to be able to have those reps to be able to know, like last week, for example, Terrion Arnold, when he got beat on that touchdown by Keenan Allen, Ife Melifonwu looked like he was supposed to be over the top on that play. And I think that communication and another week of playing with each other is so big for guys who haven't played at all together this year, and especially a rookie. And I think that it will only continue for this Lions defense to get better, specifically for the defense to not be resting starters. The defense needs to continue to improve.
Right, and Terrion Arnold, he fell for the okie doke on that play too. So
no, he did. Terrion Arnold did get beat on that play,
right.
But it did seem like it was supposed to be a cover 4 with safety help, and if he kind of went for the under. But if it's ifs and buts and candies and nuts, you can't always be happy with how everything plays out. But I do think that with another week of communication, I do think that will continue to get better between Terrion and Ife and the rest of the defense as well.
Yeah, absolutely, because I mean, you're going to, if everything works out well, you're going to get that bye week for the playoffs. And the Lions need this more than anything because of the injuries. You know, you're not just thinking about San Francisco and Minnesota. You're thinking about beating the LA Rams. You're thinking about beating the Buccaneers. You're thinking about beating Green Bay again. You're thinking about trying to beat Minnesota for a third time. You're thinking about the playoffs. You know, that playoff push is coming, and that bye week is just huge.
It is. It really is, because hopefully if you do get the bye, you get Anzo back, and you're a week closer to getting Carlton Davis back, and the most important thing is playing inside Ford Field. That is the biggest home field advantage you could have in all of football, in my opinion. I've never heard a stadium louder. I have been to so many college stadiums, and it's still not even remotely close.
Right. And I got a critical question for you when we return. Whose return is more paramount or more important? Alex Anzalone or David Montgomery? Think about that one. That's why I don't think the Super Bowl is out of the question for the Lions, because they're going to be a different team next week. They'll be a different team in 2 weeks or whatever. But Alex Anzalone is probably going to return. Maybe David Montgomery will return. In your mind, which return is more important, Anzalone or David Montgomery?
For me, it is Alex Anzalone, and here's why. Because I really do believe in Jack Campbell, but I don't think he's there yet. I think that Alex Anzalone is so big for the sideline-to-sideline defense that we need. I feel like Jack Campbell got exposed in that Buffalo Bills game. James Cook was able to take those outside runs, and he was able to find those creases and get big gains. And that's something I'm not used to seeing when I'm watching this Lions defense. They are very good against the run. And I just feel like missing Alex Anzalone has caused this defense to look a little more slower, a little more weakness to quarterback runs, outside runs. And I think that Jahmyr Gibbs, I trust Jahmyr Gibbs. I do see him as a number 1 running back. I do see someone who can carry the load. I'm not scared of that. I believe he can do everything that David Montgomery can do, other than the level of consistency he can bring to the goal line, which is a little scary because the goal line is so critical. Touchdowns win games in the NFL, not field goals. So you have to be able to convert. But I trust Ben Johnson to be able to scheme up plays to use Jahmyr Gibbs' speed if the power game isn't working. I think that there are so many more variants in the offense that you can use with Jahmyr Gibbs compared to how the defense is variants when they don't have Alex Anzalone.
Brilliant, young man. You know who you sounded like?
Who?
Me. I can't add anything into that because I do trust. The main thing is I trust Jahmyr Gibbs, but the second thing is I am so glad that people maybe could have a more of appreciation for Anzalone, because I've just heard how much this dude is trash. He's slow. He's whatever, and he's very important. And it's good to get the cap back. He's the cap, so he's going to be. Hopefully he'll be back. He's more important. That I think, and plus you want bodies back on defense. So I know the thing that people worry about is defense, and are there enough bodies, and any defensive player you can get, I'm in favor of.
Yeah, and I think that you've seen over the last couple of weeks that our weakest position in depth is the linebacker spot. I think that the constant signing of new linebackers and all the linebackers who have been on IR, like that was just razor thin. And just getting someone who can play at the level of Anzalone back is going to be so big for this defense in every facet, for everything that they want to do in man coverage, stopping the run. I trust Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs, and I feel like he is just so good that you don't need to have that power element for him to still be effective on the goal line.
Yeah, I agree. Now, one thing, and this is what I think Brad Holmes is going to do in the second or third round, he's going to bring in a badass at linebacker. We always hear about the Lions culture and how important that is. He's going to bring in a dude that won't fit the culture, but this is just going to be some dude that will knock your ass out, smack your mama around. And I think that's what the Lions need. They need that Ray Lewis dude to come in here.
I completely agree.
You're afraid to go over the middle. You're afraid to run the ball. I think that's his next thing he's going to bring in here.
Yeah, I completely see that. I think that there's a level of just toughness, and I think that of the hit stick, they need to be whenever they run through the middle, and Anzalone is okay at it. Campbell's a little bit better, but they don't have that pile driver, that real get in there and don't allow a thing like that Dre Greenlaw, who would just come in there and just be a body. And I think that is just something. I completely agree with you. I'd love to see that in the third round.
Right. Now, are you afraid of tonight's ball game? You going to rest everybody?
No, absolutely not.
Beautiful.
And we do have Neil Rule back, and I think it's working this time, so let's figure it out, chat. Make sure you keep me honest and let me know if it's not. But, Neil, how do you feel about resting people tonight?
Look, man, it's pretty simple for me. And this is kind of a standing thought I've had. I've talked about it on here before. I believe that Dan Campbell has that kind of relationship with every single player where he goes to the player. What do you need today? What do you want? What do you need? How are you feeling? What do you want to do? And I think it's individual for each guy. There may be guys that say, no, I'm straight. There may be guys that say, give me a quarter. There may be guys that say, give me 2 drives, whatever it is. I think because everyone gets caught up in this, and I know it's going to be a huge topic of discussion. Everybody feels a certain kind of way about it. I think that it's different for every person. I do, for real. I think it's different for every person. And, for me, it just goes back to that. What do they need? And there are stakes to it. I don't know if this was covered before, but there are stakes to it. If they win today, they would win the division with the tie against Minnesota. If they lose today, they would lose the division with a tie against Minnesota. So there is that's not nothing. You know what I'm saying? Is it probably nothing? Yeah, it'll probably end up being nothing, but it's not nothing. If that makes any sense. So
okay, it is nothing. But here's the thing: did you forget who the coach is of the Detroit Lions? Dan Campbell.
No.
He's not going to allow any ties. This dude will go for 2 points. This guy will go for touchdowns. This guy will go for anything to make sure it's not a tie. He doesn't believe in tie. He doesn't know what a tie is. So I don't even put that in consideration. The thing that I'm looking for is a team that needs more time together, like everybody does. Let them play. I'm not afraid of injuries. And I know it's a big risk and everything. This is not the preseason. This is the 16th game of the year for these guys. This team deserves to be 15-2. This team deserves to be the division champions. This team deserves to be in first place by himself, not with a tie and winning the division on the tiebreakers. The season that you've seen, the Lions have proven, they don't care what we say. It doesn't matter what we say, or the league, or all the other coaches and everything. This team deserves that, and I think they will get that. And bravo.
I mean, Terry, to be fair, we almost saw a couple of ties in the last 2 weeks. It came down to the 2-minute thing, and we're spinning off, we're dropping off a hypothetical cliff here with all this. But if it got inside 2 minutes and that game was tied and the Lions needed a first down, et cetera, whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But going back to it, I think that Dan Campbell in the Lions organization has proven that they have their finger on the pulse of what's going on with this team. They know what's best for this team. And more than that, above it all, the players rock with Dan Campbell. They do. And that just goes to show you. And to me, it's funny because I alluded to it before I jumped off the last time. Got a lot of messages, posts, social media stuff from Vikings fans and Packers fans alike because, I was kind of clowning them a little bit. I don't understand, and I knew the media was going to do this, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but there was all of a sudden this huge Vikings push and narrative. Like this wasn't the situation that they've been in all season long and beating the Jaguars every week. It seems like they played the Jaguars 8 times this year. but with all that being said, Terry, you did peg this. There has not been a moment this season. There has not been a moment, not a second, not a nanosecond, not a New York minute, nothing. There has not been a moment in time this season where the Lions have not been the boss. And they continue to be the boss. And even if they lost tonight, they're still the boss. Because when you boil all this down, they're coming into Ford Field. Sam Darnold's coming into Ford Field, and the Lions have Jared Goff, and the Vikings have Sam Darnold, and that's it. That's it for me. And Terry, I rock with you, man. You and I are 100% lockstep. It's probably not going to be fun. There's not going to be a lot of difference of opinion. I think that this Vikings game is a foregone conclusion. Sunday night, Ford Field, the Spencer Raxters of the world got all day long to get ready for this one.
They're going to be all liquored up. Mm-hmm. But you know what? When you're the boss, you know what you do? You grab somebody by the collar and say, "Get out my way." And you pimp slap them. You call them a bitch. That's what you do. And that's what the Lions are going to do tonight and next Sunday. Get out my way. I don't even – you don't even deserve to breathe the same air that I'm breathing. And you know what? But, look at the 2 games the Lions have lost. They lost to Tampa, and I think that's a fluke. They outplayed them, and I think Ben Johnson got away from his P's and Q's and the running game. And then Buffalo was just, one of those games. They were just – Jared Allen was like on a roll. Only the kind of roll that he can get on. Sam Darnold can't get on that roll. The San Francisco can't get on that roll. I think we as a community need to acknowledge this. Lions are badasses. They are. And I have made a living making fun of this franchise, making fun of this team. Can't do it now because when you look at them, they will smack you around. And the one word I always hear when I go in the locker room, violent. We want to be violent. I've never heard that before. It was like, we're hoping we win some ball games. And I was so sick and tired of that. Now they talk about championship. So
Chat thread, jump into there, get your thoughts out there as well. Danny G, I hope this game isn't too expensive when the real Detroiters can't afford to get in. The crowd is night and day. Danny, it's trending that way. I saw second market prices pushing $400 get in, so I would imagine that's only going to go up now because it is a certainty that it is a winner-take-all game. So I would imagine that's going to keep pushing. It's going to be an expensive ticket because there's huge stakes with it. So yeah, hopefully the crowd, but they got enough time to get properly lubricated for the game on there. Woodward Sports chat thread, jump into that super chat. You want to get to the front of the line? Go ahead and fire away on that like Owen Mullen did. So tired of the media glazing the Vikings and Sam Darnold when we do everything better between the obnoxious celebrations, their delusional fans. Can't wait to shut them all up Sunday. Owen, thank you. Like this whole media thing with Sam Darnold, and what was that clown shit that was going on in their locker room yesterday? But that just goes to show you, that backs up Terry's point. One of these teams is ready for this. One of these teams is built for this, and the other one is not. This is, Terry, look, we got to take the break. I want to save this because I know we're supposed to talk about the 49ers. I know because that's the game tonight. But, Terry, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this Sunday because it's all on the line. And the Vikings fans that reached out to me and posted, "Oh, you're nervous now, Neil?" No, I'm less nervous now than I was before. And especially after that shit I saw you guys pull in the locker room.